Yeah, welcome back to DXB today. Hope you're enjoying the show thus far. Big focus for us on all things AI at the moment, not just on the show, but well, just everywhere in Dubai. Dubai AI Week is upon us. Big focus on how AI is affecting a number of different industries, especially the world of education. And whilst most teachers and schools may be hesitant when it comes to using AI tools, our next guest is all for it. Welcome the head of sixth form and AI in education at Arcadia, Alex Gray. Alex, bless you. Thanks so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Education is such a big focus, such a big debating point, because I think we're all, as we've been discussing, accepted the fact that AI is here to stay. It's going to impact our lives in so many different ways. Education is that balancing trick at the moment, isn't it? How much can you use, when should you use, etc. Before we get on to advice, what about misconceptions? When it comes to AI in education, which misconceptions need to be cleared up?
There's a few. I think I would start with saying that it's not a silver bullet. I think there's a lot of people out there that simply just go, AI is going to solve all our problems. And in fact, I think what it's done is probably hold up and act more like a mirror. It's allowed us to see probably what's broken, what needs fixing within education. And on the other side of it, you've got almost a bit of a rhetoric, almost this conversation. It's like, it's going to replace teachers. The same as what it says in a lot of different fields. It's really not. The more you speak to people about it around the world, the more people want to co-create with it. They want to work with it. They want to see it as an assistant by the side, because at the moment, for however good it is, it still cannot do certain things humans can't. Content delivery, it's amazing. If you kind of just think, what would you describe an educator as, a teacher as? Well, if it's content, we got replaced years ago. Internet, iPads, all these things that can deliver fantastic content. But if you're talking about skill sets and empathy and human flourishing and how we develop good humans, you're always going to need the teacher there. You're always going to need a human there. So it's more about then, how do we work side by side?
It's really interesting to hear. I also used to teach in a school, so I definitely can imagine what AI could do in the classroom. But I wondered, with the surgence of all these AI tools that have come up in the past, let's say 2 years, is there an AI tool that you feel like you could still do with, or if you could create an AI tool, what would that be that would solve quite a major challenge within the academic sense, either for parents, for teachers, for students? What could you create?
See, that's really, it's a great question, and also quite a hard one, because for all the different platforms that we have, like some things are really good at doing certain things, like Midjourney is great for image creation. And then you've got ones that are probably more geared towards writing, ones that are now starting to be more geared towards coding. I think within schools, there's so many different moving pieces and moving parts. Like, could we create something that really benefits parents? I know parents, for example, instead of maybe having to email in or having to phone the school, if you had that bot that was there, you could just ask a question to that had all the school policies or all the school information. Great, that question I had that might take 24 hours to get returned, I can answer in 15 seconds. I think something like that could be worthwhile. For students, it's always that sticking point. Do we want it for feedback? Do we want it for creating lessons designs? Do we want it for feedback and ideation in lessons? So I think it's very much about what the students want and what the schools want. And I think every school, be it in Dubai, the UAE and global, are going to have different takes on that as well.
I'm sure a lot of teachers are resisting AI, worried about it, concerned. There was a time where we were worried calculators may make us dumb, right? So how do you think that AI could benefit teachers, and how are they currently embracing it?
You're right with what you said. There's some teachers who are resistant to change. So if I'm a science teacher and I've had 75% plus A-star to be in my exams, why should I change? And then it goes back to that of, well, what is the purpose of a teacher? If it's to do with developing the students, the children for tomorrow, then you've got to kind of think, oh geez, these kids need these skills, and if I'm to do my job properly, I actually need to give them the opportunities to develop those skills in my lessons. And that then means that for me as a teacher who needs to develop, I maybe go, you know what, I actually do need to understand this a little bit, or I need to go and work with an educator or a company or a consultant or whoever it may be that helps me do that. Because once you start using it, the concept of co-creation, I think, is the key thing. And you can start really small. We all know the major brands, the ChatGPTs, the Claudes, the Gemini from Google. You just go onto there and talk to it and interact with it almost as if you were dealing with another human, going, hey, how are you doing today? I've got an issue with this class or doing this. Can you help me come up with some ideas? And what we're finding is it's more about how you speak to it. Because if you watch any student or any child use it, they all go, da, 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 explain this, and then you'll go, simplify. And so the skill here is not necessarily about, how we're using it. It's more about, how do I talk to it to get the best output? And there's a saying in computer science, it's the garbage in, garbage out. If you talk to it and give it just like, you're going to get the output back. And for us as teachers, talking about AI literacy and the frameworks we want, it's our job to develop students to ask and work with it so that the input they get back, or the output, sorry, they get back is worthwhile.
I love the idea of co-creating. That's great.
Alex, I want to ask you a little bit about AI tools like ChatGPT, which is probably the most popular one out there today. When I was in school, obviously there was zero technological intervention. I went to an Indian syllabus school. We weren't even allowed to use calculators. I mean, that's how raw it was back in the day. But today, obviously, there's so many tools that help kids in so many different aspects and help educators as well. So my question to you is the traditional exam model still there, and do you see it continuing to exist in a few years from now?
So it is still there, and obviously with these things it takes time to change. And we have these questions because who's holding that up? Is it the companies that create the exams? Is it the governments that then regulate the exams? And that's the big question. From us as educators, we're looking at going, well, those exams haven't been fit for purpose for a long time, like a traditional exam route. Are they still applicable for certain subjects, for certain career paths? Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's that question of how would you feel if you knew your doctor or your pilot or the engineer had kind of gone down that route? Then we have this kind of idea of what it should be. We need them to have strong factual recall, strong knowledge. But for lots of other industries that aren't necessarily like that, actually more of a problem solving, a hands-on approach, a portfolio style of work is more applicable. So it's now about a blend. I think what we're going to see moving forward is a blend of the bit of a traditional mixed with a bit of then how do we use AI. So you might find in years to come you're sat with a computer in an examination, and it isn't about how well you can apply it, it's about how well you can research it and then make sense of it.
Well, just before we quickly let you go, if you could quickly tell us about your podcast, The International Classroom.
Yeah, so I have run this podcast for the last almost 2.5 years now, and it is what it says on the tin. It's The International Classroom is about trying to speak to educators, different classrooms around the world, and bring them together and listen to the stories that they have and learn from the unique challenges as well as solutions that they're all generating as well.
Fantastic. Alex, thank you so much for your time. We've definitely learned quite a bit. It'll be interesting to see how the educational system evolves a few years from today. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Dina, I believe you have our DXP in 60.
I do. So Alex, if you can stay right there. This lovely woman's going to be on the spot right now. I've got some questions to get to know you. We've got a minute here. Okay. We're going to ask you questions, see how many we can get through. So try to give me your quick, whatever comes through possibly. Okay. Got it?
Yep.
Let's cue the clock. 3, 2, 1. Okay. One myth you would like to bust about AI?
It's cheating.
Your motto in life and in work?
Do what you enjoy.
If you could have an AI assistant, what tasks would you want it to handle?
Sort out my calendar and organize my emails.
Okay. If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, probably one of my grandparents.
Who is it?
My grandparents.
Your grandparents
Yeah.
also. The best part about your job?
That I work for myself and I can do what I want and I can inspire loads of people.
Your most memorable moment so far in Dubai?
So many. Let's say yesterday going to the beach at 6 a.m. for sunrise.
Oh God, that's amazing. Your go-to restaurant in Dubai?
That was hard. Koya?
A book, movie, or series you'd recommend?
Yeah, it's going to be really boring, but Atomic Habits I really like because it's a really good guide for life and productivity.
All right, and finally, why Dubai?
Oh, it is a city where you can dream as wide and as big as you want. And I truly feel like in the year that I've been here, I've done more than ever before. And yeah, I absolutely love being here.
Oh, amazing.
Mina, bless you. Thanks very much
Thank
for
you.
guest co-hosting. It's been an absolute
Thank you
pleasure
so
sharing the
much.
sofa with you today. So thank you very much for everything you're doing. And of course, Alex, thank you for being with us as well. These guys are going to go off and probably talk AI in the green room.
Yeah.
But we're going to ask you to stick around. Why you do not want to miss this performance. Saw her in rehearsals a little bit earlier on. What a voice. Powerhouse vocals coming up in just a few moments. Time to play us out. Stay with us.